Coming to you live from the bottom of a bag of holding. This is your main man. Today, I'm going to be doing a video response to Eric's UK. And Eric's UK poses a very interesting video, one of his more recent videos, about atheists in fantasy worlds and fantasy RPGs, atheists and agnostics in these settings. I'm going to talk about who they are, why they are, and what the tremendous differences are right off the bat between a real-world atheist and their the correlation to this fantasy type. Now, first of all, we need to understand that fantasy is as close to infinite as our finite minds can conceive of in a genre. Fantasy could be whatever we can conceive of. So, you could certainly have a world where there are no gods at all, where there's nothing but atheism, where the idea of religion has never occurred, or where there is an idea of religion, but it is false or bogus, or most people are atheists or agnostics. All that's fine, but you push that to the side. We're talking about D&D. We're talking about Pathfinder. We're talking about Savage Worlds. We're talking about Palladium Fantasy. I don't know why, but we are. We're talking about this sort of polytheistic model that has the idea gods are real, gods are divine, gods exist, gods have followers in the world who channel the power of the god, who speak with the voice of the god, who ooze the power of the god from their very clerical vestments. These individuals are awe-inspiring, are awesome. They are elevated to a celebrity-like status by the local people. Look at the way we look at in our society at celebrities. Even the best celebrity, the nice. Look at that George Clooney, regarded by all reports I hear as just one hell of a nice guy. You can't just go up to George Clooney and be like, "What's really good, George Clooney?" and just chill with him and kick it like he was a normal dude. That's not the way it is, because George Clooney, like all celebrities, has elevated themselves in their mind because they're continuously being elevated by people. Somebody walks up to you, "Can I have your autograph? You want me to write on a piece of paper for you?" Well, fuck. When you get that, like, constantly every day, of course, in your mind, you elevate yourself to being better than other people. It's a simple part of human psychology, and psychology is everything that we're going to talk about in this video. Now, that cleric, I mean, if people are going to jock George Clooney and Brad Pitt and celebrities like that, how is somebody going to react in a fantasy setting when Atheists, the cleric of Mogul, has reattached the arm of old Bertha there? He's like, "Oh, let me just put that back on for you." Or when he hit the cure light wounds on your ass and repaired your broken back. Or your son gets killed, he's like, let me just get him up straight and back to life. This guy, you might even try to worship him. Fuck his God. You'd be like, "Pray homage to you." "No, I pray to my God." Well, it would be good for me if he might lightning bolt me or set me on fire if you start praying to me. God don't like that. Stop, really, seriously. And they're slave living too, so just stop it. That's something that's definitely to be taken into account. So in a world like that, in our world, you have an intelligentsia of agnostic individuals, of atheists. Regardless of where you fall along the lines, there are some extraordinarily bright individuals who have put out a great deal of thought along the lines of atheism. And these individuals don't exist in a fantasy game. They do not exist. You know who's an atheist? My character from 3D6 straight down the line. 4 intelligence, 4 wisdom, safety helmet, down the well like every 97 turns. Down the well. So, that's a guy who's an atheist, because he don't have no damn sense in his brain. He's an atheist. An intelligent individual is not an atheist, because you can logically prove that there's a God. In a world where we have no ability to do that, the majority of the population of this world, to one degree or another, from suicide bomber to maybe, believes. So if you're the majority of the population of the world, where the only arguments that you can make fall under faith, they all get reduced to faith, which is no argument at all. But when you have a world where, what possible argument can you make against? What rational argument can you make? And let's not get into like abstract planescapisms and things like that. Those are videos all on themselves. But when you're sitting there, and let's face it, man, you're ignorant. Man, there ain't no damn public schools in D&D. They don't have no YMCA. Your ass don't know shit. Most people can't read. But they do see that Birdie's got her arm put back on. They saw that, so like, oh, I definitely believe, you know. So when you have that, you're going to believe. You're not going to have an intelligent style of individual going, oh, well, there's no gods. Now, you could get into the idea of anti-theism, which is completely different. You ask me anti-theist, you're like, oh yeah, well I did this and this God didn't do nothing for me. Fuck you, this God. You can choke on my balls. How about that? That sort of idea, absolutely, every day, all day long, you are going to have some angry dudes in that world. There are going to be some dudes that are angrier than a ranger. You see what I'm saying? They're mad with these gods. You're going to have that. Dungeons and Dragons, Book of Vile Darkness, and I think their Book of the Divine, I think they reprinted it. A Samuel L. Jackson dude, where he's an priest. Amazing prestige class. In fact, I played that priest once. Great. It was a great deal. You're mad at the gods. Anti-theism doesn't need to have absolutely anything. Anti-theism and atheism, they can be together, but they do not need to be. You can full-on believe and be an anti-theist. In fact, that's going to be a fairly common model in a game like that. In fact, you don't even need to be evil. You could be straight up a very good person. You could be like, oh, the gods, you'd be screwing people over, and I'm finna get with your power and get with you. I mean, I think that's a perfectly interesting idea and design. But we're not going to get too much in that. Sorry. Rub my eye and then got my eyelid like busted into my eye. You know what I'm talking about. So the idea of an atheist in these games is to me fairly preposterous. Now, I saw, it's either in his video or God, what the fuck's the Irish dude? Alright, the Irish dude. You fucked my name up, so you're just the Irish dude. It's not Wood Wad, it's Wood W-W-A-D. Wood and or do. Know that, and you need know nothing else. So the Irish dude, he makes a video response to me, and then that's how I find this whole Irish UK joint. So, he talks about, what the fuck is his name? Kevin? I'm sorry, brother, I can't get it. I'll tell you what I will do. I'll even put a link to his channel in the fucking comments box, which I'll probably forget to do. but I'm making a promise, which I'll probably just forget to do. Sorry, I mean to give you a plug here. Give a plug to Eric UK too, so what about that? Fuck it, let's give the Big Brady Man a plug out there as well. 23, 32 pictures. For no reason at all. Brady didn't do shit. But we're going to give him a plug anyway. Just because we're having fun right now. Talking about religion and RPG is probably my favorite thing to do. Now, the atheist isn't really going to exist. The wizard is probably the only place you could even begin to make an argument for an intellectual atheist. But it's an individual that's building up, like, to becoming a god themselves. They're like, well, that's where power is. I'm a wizard, so we know I like power. So I'm going to try to get me a godhood on. And that's really the only way you could take it. I mean, you know, the idea, I'm a fighter, I'll fight, so you know, that doesn't make any sense. But you go punch your way back through time and become a god? You know, that's just silly. You know, the wizard is the key to that kind of power, without a doubt. You know, you can't backstab your way to being a god. You know, you just can't. That'd just be stupid. But a wizard, you know, a powerful wizard, you know, can start getting towards her. But then you kind of get into, it's not so much atheism as the quandary and questions of what is a god, how do you become a god, the apotheosis of personality and the becoming there. And that gets, again, that's like a series of videos, so we're not going to touch on that. But basically, we're going to say this. You don't really have any atheists in a Dungeons & Dragons style game. Now, somebody left a comment on one of those Sudo's videos, and I think this is stupid as fuck. So, I forget what the guy's name is, but if you can do a video, I don't know if you can, respond it here, because I don't want to miss it. You just respond it to me, or just PM me. Let me know, because I will watch that video. Or leave comments. Leave as many comments as you need. Like, if you want to leave, like, 3,700 comments, I will read them some bitches. Because I really want to get into the mindset here. The guy says, and I'm going to give you another example of this. The guy says, forced deism, another reason not to play D&D. Which I think is the stupidest fuck. I think that is stupid as fuck. Like anyone that out there that knows me, you know I'm an atheist. I am a fully committed atheist. You know that. So saying that's not, the deist picking on the atheists or the agnostics. It's one atheist to another atheist, perhaps. It doesn't fucking make any sense. It's just where does logic follow? The whole idea for atheists is to be fucking being atheist because you're mad. Where does logic follow? Well, it doesn't make any sense to me. Sorry. There's no concept of belief. There either is or isn't. So for me, it isn't. But when it's just a deal where you're angry, well, that's a problem. To me, to predicate your ideals upon a concept like that, it is very, very odd. Now, we always interview individuals before we bring them into the game group for a whole bunch of reasons. First of all, do you want somebody just to randomly show up at your house that you don't know? I don't play at a game store. I play in my house or one of my buddies' house. I don't want to bring somebody that's a fucking psycho to one of my buddies or to my house. And most importantly, I don't want to bring somebody that sucks. We want to really talk to grill them and make sure we go over. And I usually bring one or more people from my gaming group to meet the individuals. It's usually not very hard. They're usually lining up. They love to come. And, just by very nature, I'm kind of the bad cop because I'm really looking for something. If I'm going to invest my time and energy in you, I expect you to step up to the plate. I'm way past the training somebody to know what they're doing part. That's for somebody else. If I have a strong personal relationship with you, then maybe, but probably. And I feel you're smart and creative, I'll probably invest into you. But just a random stranger, I will not invest into them for that, unless I really don't have another option. Like if I need a player and I think they're smart and creative, then okay. But when we go and meet someone new, and I have the ability to call. I have a huge pool of players I can gather to play a game. So I don't need to find new players, but I like to bring like one new person in per campaign, because when you have the same people, you have kind of an insular, inbred style to your play, which you don't like. And I think it could change the dynamic, often in a very good way, to bring a fresh perspective in, and it can be a bit more challenging on the game master, which I like. So we go and we meet this guy, and he is an atheist, and I was running Forgotten Realms. So I'm like, oh yeah, so we're running Forgotten Realms, running this and that, blah blah blah, and he was a fucking weird dude, and he makes a comment. Forgotten Realms is the most offensive campaign setting there is. And I was like, it's offensive? I mean, to that idea to me, the only thing that's going to fit me in a role-playing game is if it's written poorly, or if it's not allowing the immersive style. You don't like Driscoll Warden? I mean, what's offensive? Elements are booty for you? I mean, okay. I mean, I'll check one, check two. Yeah, those are fine ideas to me. But the guy goes, no. Or he probably didn't say no. He goes, no, you have to believe in a God in the world. It punishes people who are atheists. I said, well, yeah, man, the gods are real. I mean, the gods are real. Of course they're going to punish you. You think gods who derive their power from your worship are going to be happy with you for... That doesn't make any sense. Of course they're going to punish you. I'll tell you this, within the Ring of Fire, the gods, the divinities, and the different spiritual classifications of entities that you can worship, none of them are going to be happy with you if you do not follow them. You have no friend over here. You have not cultivated a friend through worship. You have not cultivated an entity to invest in you. You've not invested in them. Oh, well, I mean, it's a bad thing that could happen to you because of that. It's not because, not pick on atheists. It's because that's where the logic follows. And that is, for me, if you're going to follow atheism, exactly how you should do it. Where's logic follow? Okay, that makes sense, that makes sense, that makes sense. Check, 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 check. Okay. Well, the same thing should be applied to a fantasy universe. It has to make sense. When you have a thing that just goes all over the place, how can you follow that? How does that make sense? It doesn't. It can't. You shouldn't. You won't. So, logically, what is created by the divinities. I mean, that's like a pretty simple thing to understand. So, when you have the divinities creating these things, when you have the divinities being very real, of course they're not going to be pleased with you if you can't even be bothered to worship them. At least one of them. That's a bad move for you. So, I just thought that was weird. And the guy kind of clamped down and asked him about that. So, for anyone out there who thinks that it is insulting, odd, somehow picking on you from the game design point of inclusive polytheism as being what is real, because you have to make decisions as a game designer, as a fantasy world builder, what is and what isn't. You could have what appears to be as well, but things either are or aren't. They have to be. You have to make something. You can't just go, oh, well, I mean, that would be like the epitome of the drizzling shits. You have to make decisions. Why on earth would that upset anyone? I can't understand it at all. For me, I'm not going to be happy if you don't have divinities in the game. To be honest, for the most part, you know, I mean, you might do a great job and have an interesting setting, but overall, if I'm playing fantasy worlds, I want divinities of some kind I can worship, that I can integrate in my character, that I can bring about a theological debate with other characters. Oh man, that's fascinating. I will tell you this: if you ever play a game with me, fucking read the chapter on your God, because I'm probably going to persecute you on that shit. If there's any skill I like to buy, it's theology, knowledge, religion, cults, academics, whatever is going to give me the ability to understand the divinities in that scope. I love that. I love that. That's top shelf stuff to me. And I will sit down and role play with your ass for like 8 hours straight on that topic. I love it. I mean, I'll take that over slaying an army of goblins every day of the week, every single day. So for me, that whole idea is bizarre. And this guy got mad. I'm telling you about this guy we met. He was mad at Forgotten Realms. He was mad at Forgotten Realms for having gods. Because saying that you need to worship these gods or you go into the wall of Celeborn. I'd be mad for having Celeborn because he is an emo punk. I can't stand Celeborn. I bring Merkel and just smack him in the mouth. And that's what I did in my game. Merkel put a beat down on Celeborn. We rolled Celeborn like he was a punk. Celeborn get dealt with in the street, son. Take that fool's boots off and throw him around a telephone pole. Celeborn had to run home naked because they took his clothes. Fuck about Celeborn. But he had the wall of souls there. And that's where they put like the atheist. Of course you do! And I mean, but I just don't see how big a wall it would be. I mean, that's a pretty, it's like that wall's like this big. I mean, who's going to be an atheist when you can worship Merkel? I mean, come on. It just doesn't make any sense to me. When, you know, there are going to be some people that, and I know the wall's sold, so don't get it. Oh, actually, it says, no, let's not do that. I've read the thing, I understand, but it's just a silly concept to me, the idea of being an atheist in a fantasy setting. So, anyone out there that feels that way, goes, oh, well, it's insulting to say that you need to worship a god, because that's following the logic. The game designer, I don't think any of these game designers are trying to impose a theistic model on you. They're just trying to add like more creative things to a game. Gods add a great creative piece to your character sheet. Like, not having a god adds nothing. It's like, well, I don't have anything here, and I'm going to where no one worships a god, so we can't even have that conversation. I want to have as much conversation as possible. I want to have as many tools to role play as possible. So when I'm in a game, believe this, dude, I might be playing a rogue or a fighter, but I'm going to know just as much about religion as that cleric over there does. Believe that, probably more, because that's an intelligence-based skill, and my intelligence is usually my highest stat. I don't care what kind of character I'm playing. I'll play a character with a high-ass intelligence that has a low strength as a fighter. I don't give a damn. I'm going to have my stats the way I want them as a character I believe in my head. So, when you have that, you have a real serious deal there, which I think is is a cool thing, to give you more to work with. Now, again, if you feel that, I really seriously want to hear from you. I'm not going to crackle do a joke on you. I mean, I probably will, but no, I won't. But I just want to know. I don't understand that mentality. And like I said, I mean, that's the camp I'm in, but I don't really understand that. Why somebody? It's fucking make believe. You know, that's the whole. It's fucking make believe. You know, I kind of understand the super Christian. Oh, you can't have the demons and devils and da. But I can understand that, so I don't agree with it at all. I think that's the balls, but I can understand it. So when you have these ideas, why would you have that? You know, why would you have that? And I want to hear you guys' thoughts on atheism. I want to hear you guys' thoughts on agnosticism in an environment where gods do exist. Let's stipulate that right off the bat. So hit me with the comments. Let me know. Eric's, good job with the video.